Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. This is your host Salahuddin Choudhry with the third session of YouTube channel Penta-S segment Sal Soul. I would like to call your attention to this particular day, 9th of August, which is recognized by the United Nations and the whole world as the International Day of the world's Indigenous Peoples. Indigenous Peoples, 9th August. And of course this year 2021 is a special celebration. Well, ladies and gentlemen, young people, boys and girls, you can see me in a special dress today with a special cap. This is a cap, as you can see, is a Hunza Kailash cap, and of course with a shirt that I am wearing around me. This I am doing so to say that I am fully convinced and dedicated to the importance of this particular day, and that is Day for the Indigenous Peoples. I have in this context, ladies and gentlemen, have done or drawn a small talk or an essay for your benefit as well as for my own happiness. The title of the talk or the essay is Indigenous Peoples, Part of Humanity, They Matter. Indeed, they really matter. Well, each year 9th of August commemorates the International Day of the world's Indigenous Peoples. It is celebrated around the world. The term Indigenous Peoples refers to culturally distinct groups affected by colonization. What? The word important, colonization. That's the real element for people all over the world throughout history, in suffering, in facing indignity, a lot of other things. Anyway, the term Indigenous Peoples, as I said, is because of colonization. They suffered culturally in many other ways. On this particular occasion of this day, the UN Secretary General, in a special message, emphasizes that indigenous peoples around the world continue to face overwhelming marginalization, discrimination and exclusion. Rooted in colonialism and patriarchy, these profound disparities are sustained by a deeply held resistance to recognizing and respecting the rights, dignity and freedoms of indigenous peoples. According to WHO, that is World Health Organization, communities that live within or attached to geographically distinct traditional habitats or ancestral territories and who identify themselves as being part of a distinct cultural group and maintain cultural and social identities separate from the mainstream or dominant society or culture. The 2021 commemoration of the International Day of the world's Indigenous Peoples focuses on the theme. This is the theme, 2021, leaving no one behind. Leaving no one behind, indigenous peoples and the call for a new social contract. That is the theme of this day, year 2021. The UN estimates that there are over 476 million indigenous peoples living in 90 countries across the world, accounting for 6.2% of the global population. It's no small figure, it's a very big figure. More than 70% of the world's population is living in countries with rising income and wealth inequality, including those indigenous peoples who already face high rates of poverty and acute socio-economic disadvantages, leading intense social tensions and conflicts. Eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions and reducing inequality are at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Not only governments but also social activists, indigenous peoples, women, academia, scientists all have a role to play in building and redesigning a new social contract to serve the interests of all peoples. A new social contract must combat the legacy of exclusion and marginalization affecting indigenous peoples through their meaningful and effective participation to meet the goals of the 2030 Agenda, as I said earlier. Regrettably, or rather, euphemistically speaking, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown a light on the effects of growing inequalities and promoted discussion on the urgent need to rethink a new social contract, a new common sense that will work for all peoples and the planet through the rights, dignity, and freedoms of all. Well, that's about at the global level. Now about Pakistan. As far as Pakistan is concerned, the main indigenous peoples are the Kochis, Rabari, Baloch, Bakarwal, Kehal, Jogi, Kabutra, Sannyasi, and the Kailash. The Kochis are mostly found in Karachi. They are a nomadic people originally from Afghanistan. There are a few families of Chakma in Pakistan who came from Chittagong hill tracts of former East Wing. Pakistan does not have any national policies about indigenous people. The International Convention related to indigenous people consented by Pakistan is the ILO Convention. Well, that is important. Pakistan's census of 1998 brings up tribes in the category of quote-unquote others and does not take into account specifically the tribal population of the country, which includes indigenous people. There is a perception of absence of liaison between indigenous populace and mainstream society. Here, the media has the ability to alter public opinion, community norms, and create and realize self-identity of masses. This is important. Media plays a role and can play a role. The distinct cultural identities of indigenous people being their forte, they have enriched the field and domain of cultural heritage the world has recognized and Pakistani nation feels proud about. Different cultural events and festivals held by them throughout the year attract all and sundry. This is very, very important. This is the mainstay of the indigenous people. Kailash festival is one such festival, a most unique and taboo for many in Pakistan and elsewhere on earth. The three main Kailash festivals are Chilam Joshi, spring festival that is, Quemas, winter festival, and Uchal summer festival. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Hunza people, that is Hunza Kuts, are people who have lived centuries in their very own isolated valleys. They speak Waki and the Shina. Hunza is a fairy tale land, and a lot of myth and reality has been associated to it. One thing is true of all that, Hunza people are probably the most friendly in the region. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke in my first and second session all about friendship. Friendship the whole world needs. And Hunza people, as claimed, as seen, are very, very friendly. Hunza, known as heaven on earth, is a beautiful mountainous valley located in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan. The valley has different beautiful natural sites which are the attractions of tourists. The region of Hunza has one of the highest literacy rates as compared to other similar districts in Pakistan. Interesting. Due to the interest of His Highness Karim Aga Khan, whom most of the Hunza Kuts follow as their spiritual leader. The Broshuski people live in the Hunza, Nagar state and Yasing valleys of northern Pakistan. There are also over 300 Borushu living in Srinagar, India, predominantly Muslims. Here I recall in sorrow Prince Barkat Ali of Nagar state. He was a former Foreign Service colleague of mine who died in harness. He was a wonderful man, a real Nagar state prince, a real man, a real diplomat, full of heart and passion. We all remember him as a colleague. In 2008, the Republic of Macedonia organized a visit for Hunza Prince Ghaznfar Ali Khan and Princess Rani Atika as descendants of the Alexandrian army. They were greeted by the Prime Minister and the heads of the church. This political support of a connection with Hunza compares Greek relations with the neighboring Kailash people of Pakistan, who also claim Alexandrian ancestry. Hunza, known as heaven on earth, I'm sure nobody will disagree. The whole world knows, the whole world agrees. Hunza, known as the heaven on earth, is a beautiful mountainous valley located in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan. The valley has different natural sites which are the attractions for tourists. Among these attractions are Baltit and Altit forts, which are very, very reputed. Now about Mir Ghaznfar Ali Khan. Ghaznfar Ali himself as an Ismaili clan, and a very dear friend, old friend of mine since our Foreign Office comradeship early 70s, has been a performing artist as a drummer. He has been he owned a band, and a very and a good, excellent drummer. He had a band, a pop band. He has been performing as an artist, as a drummer of his own band, inheriting cultural brands of the Hunza Valley and drawing art inspiration of the whole region, including Chitral and Kailash. A big feather to his Hunza cap, he became Gilgit-Baltistan governor when Pakistan Muslim League Noon was in power, and he was there until September 2018. He had earlier taken the position of non-sovereign head of the state of Hunza in 1976 with the title of Mir. There, the prince or the head of the state is called Mir, M-I-R. We, as ardent admirers of this celebrity, about his promotion of tourism and his passion for art and culture, pay tribute today for his support of the indigenous people of his region, including Kailash. So, ladies and gentlemen, my young viewers, in conclusion, happily I say, we celebrate International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples. We need to do justice to equality and inclusivity of all in our human society by duly honoring our own folks like Kochis, Chakma, Rebari, Maloj, Baharwal, Jogi, Kabutra, Makrani and Kailash. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say emphatically and urge you all, let us love them all. Let us love the indigenous people. They are our people. They belong to our country. Many of them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.